So today we'll be discussing dominant chords, and specifically dominant chords in rapid succession. For this example, I'm going to be using the bridge to rhythm changes. This idea kind of came about because I would play through this when I was playing through some heads, and I would never feel comfortable during the bridge. I would have a lot of ideas worked out, and I'd feel pretty comfortable during the A sections and the last A section. But during the bridge, it was always kind of hit and miss. So I think that's because the dominant chords never really settle. By their nature, they're very tense and they always want to lead somewhere. Normally you have like a G7 chord, it wants to go to a C major or C minor or something like that. You want to settle for a minute and then move on. And during the bridge, it's always tense. You always have to be moving until you get back to the one on the last A section. Alright, so I'm going to share with you 3 licks or melodic devices, however you like to think about it, on ways to navigate the bridge on rhythm changes and hopefully inspire other ideas for you as well. Alright, let me walk you through this first exercise here. We're going to begin on beat 2 of the measure. I intentionally didn't start any of these exercises I'm going to show you today on beat 1 because I feel like there are enough books and exercises out there that start with 8 notes starting on beat 1 and just go for days. And although that is beneficial to some people when you're first getting started, I don't think it's very musical or very interesting to do that all of the time. So today these 3 exercises are going to start on different parts of the beat. So we begin on beat 2 with an enclosure. We're going to aim for the 5th of D7, which is A, and approach it from above with the B and then below with the G sharp, and that creates our enclosure. We're going to go up the scale diatonically until we get to the 9th, which is E, go down with an arpeggio, and then add in a little passing tone here once we get to the F sharp, that's the 3rd, and then we're going to leap up at the end to the root, which is D. And you can also drop this down an octave too if that's not in your range. Here's the second exercise. Let's take a look at this one. Once again, you'll notice we're not starting on beat 1 and just running 8th notes. We're adding some rhythmic variation in here, but let's work backwards with this one. You'll notice this interval here is the way we ended the previous exercise I just showed you. And you can also drop this D down an octave. That's easier for you to start, but we're really aiming for the F sharp here, the 3rd of the chord. We're going to get there through another enclosure, right? So approach it above with the G and below with the E natural, and that gets us to F sharp. And then working backwards again, getting to the E natural, we're just going to approach it chromatically. So E flat to E natural, do your enclosure, get to F sharp, and then hop up to the root there. And we're going to start on the and to 1, like I just said, and then add a little bit of rhythmic variation here and start on the and to 4, and you just do it twice and then sequence it through. The third and final lick I'm going to share with you starts on the and to 4. So this anticipates where we're supposed to be going, all right? So the C is the 7th of D7, so that anticipates it. We start with some more syncopation, and we arpeggiate up here, E, G, B, and we're going to end up on the A, which is the 5th, and then we're going to add in this little lick here. This is very common, but look at where we're going here. We're heading to the F sharp, so we're going to go A, G, and then we could go to the F sharp at that point, right? That's some normal voice leading that we had before, but we're going to add in some chromaticism, some bebop here. E, F natural, F sharp. Okay, so now we have a solid lick here, and then we're going to add in some more harmony, add the A again, and then F natural, which is the sharp 9. Okay, this one's a little bit more complicated. I'll walk you through it one more time. So the C anticipates it, we arpeggiate up here, and I think a common mistake a lot of people that begin to improvise and learn about bebop and ways to make harmony happen on their horns linearly, is that G is like supposed to be in an avoid note on D7, right? You're supposed to play D, F sharp, A, and C. Well, that's not necessarily the case. I mean, you could play A minor here because that's part of the 2-5. And you can play essentially whatever you want here as long as you know how to resolve it, right? Okay. But at the end here, I think the main thing with this one is the anticipation, and at the end, adding in this F natural really adds more tension to the chord and more interest harmonically. All right, you have all three of these new licks you can practice and work through the keys with. Once you have these down, you could play all of them and sequence them like I just did there, or you could start to mix and match them and start to come up with some of your own. So an idea of how to mix and match them is this how it might sound. Now you have three new ideas to play over dominant chords. I would encourage you to take each of these ideas through all 12 keys, not just the 4 that I played for you and listed out. And I know 12 keys always seems like a lot of work, especially for younger musicians, but trust me, if you take it through all 12 keys, it's really going to stick in your brain, and it's really going to come through in your playing and stick with your muscle memory as well. I also have one more thing to add. Make no mistake, there is no substitute for getting together with real musicians and shedding this material and playing it and talking about it and experiencing it together, but it can be difficult during the social distancing time. So I've created a backing track. You heard me use it on the recording earlier, but it goes through the rhythm changes just in concert B flat right now. I have others that go through other 12 keys, but for now I just have this one available. And it repeats it 8 times in a row. I'm always a big fan of finding deficiencies in my own playing and isolating them and kind of attacking them so I can improve them, right? A lot of the backing tracks now that you find are great, and they sound wonderful, and it's got real musicians playing, but it's tough to isolate things that you're not good at unless you have to go back and kind of rewind and find the right spot, or you start all the way at the beginning and you end up getting really good at the first 2 chords of a tune, and then the ones that you're not so good at you kind of slip over because you always have to come back to them, or the tune keeps going, right? So this way, it goes through the changes, it stops, it gives you the clicks, you can go through it 8 times. It's just a 2-minute track, so it's a good way to practice. And playing along with backing tracks is great right now too, because you can really go crazy just playing by yourself every day, all day. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like on it. If you want to stay up to date on the stuff that I'll be posting, go ahead and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'm open to covering any topics or material that people are interested in related to jazz improvisation or trombone, obviously. So I hope you enjoyed this video. That's all for now. Enjoy your mornings or evenings wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one.